Hi, I'm Susie Geiger. Thanks so much for joining us on Yoga with Susie. Today I'm going to show you lots of different ways to use all these fabulous props with yoga and stretching. I don't believe in just one modality, so I'm going to show you lots of different ways to do things. To start, you might notice that I'm on a pillow. You can use a blanket, you can use a block. And what it does is help to tilt my pelvis forward. So if it's hard for you to sit up, because you just haven't practiced much to be able to sit up and support your back, you can start here, you can double it up, help tilt it forward. It feels really nice. And so that's my first tip for you today. So I'm gonna lie down, and I'm going to show you a way in which you can stretch the backs of your legs with another prop that I use with a lot of my classes, particularly in my senior classes, but with everyone. And if you don't have a yoga strap like this, you can use a belt that you have, or like a terry cloth rope belt, a piece of string. You don't need to get one of these. And I'm just going to hook my foot and lie down. So I'm trying to really relax my head and my neck and my shoulders down because I don't want to tense up here to release here. So I'm going to show you with this foot first. I want you to notice how I just switched. I didn't need to get my hands involved. I just used my feet. So I see a lot of people really bend their knee in order to bring their leg back. And there's nothing wrong with this, you're still stretching some stuff, but this is very different than this. So I always say try both. If you have to let go, I also see people do this a lot. Like you don't need to do that. Bring your hands down on the strap. Again, I'm trying to really relax through my neck and my shoulders. I can start to rock the legs side to side, trying to focus on my breathing. So besides stretching back here, hamstring muscles, there's a lot of other things besides your hamstrings. It's just the muscle name most people know. I can also open the leg to the side, and now I'm getting inner thigh. I'll show you with the other leg. I can also cross my body in the other direction to get outer thigh. So I'm going to take my time for a moment, and maybe you'll all join me while we're doing it. Lie down, grab a strap, relax in my neck and shoulders. Right now that feels about the right place for me. I'm just going to relax, and you notice, I just noticed my hand is high up on the strap. So I'm going to bring it down and try and relax in my neck and shoulders. I'm trying to straighten, and also I want you to notice what I'm doing with my foot. So I can bring the strap up a little bit. That's called the ball of my foot. And that forces me to flex the foot. This is unflexed. This is flexed. As soon as I flex the foot, I'm going to start to feel it more into the calf muscle and the Achilles tendon. If you feel it in other places, which happens to a lot of people, they'll say, you're telling me it's a stretch for my calf, but I feel it somewhere else. Generally, that means that place is tight. So again, I'm going to start here, make sure I relax in my neck and shoulders. Just breathe, maybe rock the legs side to side. I can bend the knee to release the stretch and then take my knee into my chest, maybe just rock that around, taking it up. Again, you're kind of resetting the muscle by doing that. As soon as I bend the knee and take it into my chest, that stretch is gone. The muscle feels safe, so when I take it up a second time, it's a little bit more relaxed, hopefully. Again, I noticed that my hand was way up on the strap, so I'm going to bring it down to relax my neck and shoulders. You don't have to flex the foot if it's too intense for you. And if you need to keep a little bend in your knee, that's what you should do in the beginning. Open to the side. Doesn't matter how far your leg comes over. Over to the other side.
and then I'll switch. So remember, that's how I switch. Just take one foot up with the other. And I'll do the same thing to start. Make sure I'm relaxed in my neck and shoulders. My hand can be way down. I think people think that the more they pull, the better they're stretching, and it's really not the case, at least for me. So I'm doing all those different things, including crossing body this time, which can be really intense. And even here I can bend and straighten. Checking in, I'm always checking in with my neck and shoulders, and what I'm doing with my arms is probably more effective for me to hold the strap on this side. And I always do things in multiples, so I'll take it back to the first side. Maybe bend again, take the knee into the chest. Maybe really flex that foot. It's intense, I'm telling you. Wow. People think because I'm the yoga teacher that maybe I have some magical yoga fairy dust that's sprinkled on my body and that I'm super flexible and everything's fabulous. But I have to do the work also. And this one for me, to straighten and flex the foot, boy do I feel that. Just relax. Maybe opening to the side. I'll just do one more time on this side. I hope you guys are doing it with me. Just lie down, relax. Take some of those deep breaths. Here I go. Oh, it's really not that bad. I'm just being silly. And if it's really intense for you, again, remember, you can just bend it. It'll completely release the stretch. And in the beginning, if it feels really intense for you, that would be where I would start. I would just bend and straighten, and then maybe each time holding it for another few seconds until you can finally hold the stretch for between 30 and 60 seconds. I recently read in the Harvard Medical Journal that in order for a stretch to be effective, 30 to 60 seconds you need to hold the stretch. So that gives the muscles the time, and not in the most intense way, in a very gentle way. Not where I don't feel anything. Like if I'm doing this, I don't feel any stretch in the back of my leg. So just where I start to feel it, and then relax into it and hang out. Let's see what 30 seconds really feels like. So just hang out, breathe. Maybe flex your foot a little bit. You can release it, but you're still holding the stretch. Stay with me, a few more breaths here. Almost. You think I'm messing with you, that it's more than 30 seconds? I bet you that's just about 30 seconds. So that's prop number one, the strap. And remember, you don't need to get a strap like this. You can use any household item that you might have around.
So the other thing I'm going to show you, which I've shown you before, is foam roller. So I'm starting here. You can take your hands here, it doesn't matter. You can have them on the floor if you need to. I have my knees bent and my feet flat on the floor. I lift my butt up a little bit and I start walking my feet back. And I can take it all the way into my neck and let my butt drop back down. You can take your arms over and do this. It feels really nice to do that. I can turn my head side to side to get into my neck a little bit. And then I'm going to go back slowly. Because that's the other thing I see a lot when I'm teaching classes, is that people just go back and forth really quick, and that's okay, but sometimes you need to slow it down and let it do its work. One of my teachers told me a long time ago, stay with it and let it do what it's supposed to be, let it do what it's supposed to do rather than going so quickly. So again, I'm going to try, and I just caught my hair even up with a ponytail. Slowly. Again, I'm lifting my tush off the ground to start to walk myself back. And it feels really nice. And I know a lot of people have stuff in their neck. I've shown you in other videos the balls that I use, which we'll bring out again at another point. But this is a nice way sometimes I can hold on to the foam roller to hold it in place and then just start to take my head side to side to get into my neck. And now I'm going to show you a way to get into the side of your hips, into your glute muscles. Again, there's a lot of other muscles down there. So I have my hands on the mat and I'm sitting on the foam roller, and I'm going to take the right ankle over the left knee. Actually, I'm going to start the other way so you guys can see. Left ankle over right knee. And I'm targeting this side. The knee that's folded is the side that we're targeting. To get into that glute muscle and into the side of the hips, and maybe move your body around if you have that ability. If you don't and you need to keep both feet down, you can do that. If you want to target and you have that ability, then you can start to roll into the side. And of course the other side, rolling there. And roll yourself right off of it. The block. So I love the block, and I'm going to show you a couple different things that I do with it. I teach a class at a senior center, and one of my seniors came up to me last week after class and asked me if there was anything she could do to strengthen up her pelvic floor. She didn't say it that way, but I knew what she meant. She was worried that sometimes when she has to go to the bathroom really bad, sometimes a little bit leaks out, and she wants to squeeze those muscles. I'm gonna lie down on my back with my knees bent and my feet flat on the floor, and I'm gonna take the block and put it in between my knees and squeeze. And it starts to activate some muscles in the pelvic floor. You might want to play with where the block is. For me, rather than the block being this way, for me, I feel it more when I do it this way. Then I start to feel some of those muscles activating, and then you can release it and do it again. But my favorite thing to do with the block is in bridge, and I teach it this way in a lot of classes. So this is bridge. My hands are down by my side. My feet are hip distance apart, and my feet are flat on the floor, and you can see, I'll put my hands here so you can see a little bit better where I'm just lifting my butt off the ground. Well, that takes a lot of muscle to be able to do that. It's actually a very important pose, and if you don't have this pose in your practice, I strongly encourage you to try to do some bridge. But you can take the block and you can use it in different ways. I can put it here, and I'm putting it right at the top of my butt and my lower back. I can also turn the block to the side and do it this way. You can take the block on the highest, but that's really hard to do. And in order for me to do it, I have to come up onto my tippy toes and do it. And it's intense, and I'm sure you can see the difference. I would never do this if my back was not warmed up. Would never just take this to the highest level of the block and put it underneath there. I would start here, and then it's really just relaxing down and letting now my shoulders and everything else relax. And even my back, I'm trying to let my back relax enough so that the block is supporting my weight completely. And just relax down. I always like to just take some deep breaths. You can turn your head side to side here. You can take your arms over your head if you want. Give yourself a little stretch that way. Or just simply relax down. If it feels a little intense to have the block underneath, you can always take a blanket or something and put it on top of the block and then lower down on top of that. If you have the block in the right spot, I used to have a teacher who called it the sweet spot. And I love that, and I've always remembered it, because if I put the block up here
it doesn't feel as good. And eventually, like, it's already starting to not, like, I don't like it so much. So that's what my teacher meant about the sweet spot. If you don't know where your sacrum is, that's where I'm targeting. And the sacrum is a triangle-shaped bone at the bottom of your spine. We're trying to get this block right on that sacrum. And then again, you can just relax. And here's some variation. So you see I just straighten my left leg, and when I do that, I feel a little bit of a stretch up here. You can do both legs at the same time or one at a time. It's a little intense sometimes to do them both at the same time. It's up to you. It's not worth hurting yourself for, in my opinion, so I always like to take things nice and slow. I wouldn't hold this for more than 5 minutes. So if you're doing it with me and you have the block under there the whole time, you might want to take it out. And when I take it out, I always then do the counterbalance, meaning I've just done a back bend. So a back bend, my back is bending, that's what it means. I'll lower down and I'll do a few things. I'll windshield wiper my knees side to side, and I'll do a little twist first by taking my knees into my chest, maybe rocking a little bit side to side, and then take my knees over both sides. Again, I'm trying to relax my neck and shoulders down. If your knees can't come up this high without your shoulder popping up, you can try and bring your knees further down. And there's something to be said. I teach this twist where the bottom leg is on the ground, and then watch what I do with the top leg. As soon as I do that, now I feel the stretch in a different place. I think they're all really valid. For me, that feels like it gets into some stuff that just doing this, it doesn't. So you can try both of those things. I really like this one. Till eventually maybe you come here and then bring the leg back up. And of course the other side, taking my knees over to the other side. I'm not forcing anything. Again, I'm trying to relax my neck and shoulders down. Using my breathing. And then I'll take that top leg. If that doesn't feel good for you, then just keep your legs together. It's okay. There's also one other way to do the twist, which would be one leg is straight, one knee is bent. I keep the bottom leg straight, and then I bring this over. So this is way more intense. And here's another place you can use the prop. And I can put my knee right on top of that. You can also do it without the block and maybe just have your hand. I love doing this little rocking motion with myself. It feels really good. Again, I'm always trying to remind myself to relax all the other places that I'm not stretching and using my breath. And then I would take my knees back into my chest and straighten the right leg, bringing the left leg over. Same thing, so this side feels a little tighter for me, so I'm not going to push it. Maybe taking it slower. Take your knees into your chest. And I'd like to show you one more thing that I've learned by working in a physical therapist's office, which is the safest way to come up to sit without bothering your back is rolling to the side and then use your hands to push yourself up to sit. And just from those few minutes, I feel so much more relaxed from doing that. I feel like my hair is all a mess, and I've just woken up from this really beautiful, delicious little relaxed moment of doing some yoga. I thank you guys so much for watching. Check out all the links below for social media. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can click on the little button on the page that says subscribe. And then you'll get information of when new videos are coming out. I'd also love to hear from you guys if there's something you want to see me do, or you want me to expand on some things that I've already done. Please just let me know. Thank you so much for watching. This is Susie Geiger for Yoga with Susie.